Hi everyone, and welcome to the second part of the Rail Maintenance Dev Diary. Last week, we unveiled a whole host of features that I've been working on together with Agami. We're super excited to see your positive reaction to all the things we've unveiled so far, and can't wait for you to get your hands on it soon. We deeply believe that our community is our lifeblood. That is why we're constantly trying to find ways to giving back to the community and lift up talented creators through our different programs, such as the creator packs or this update. Working with Agami has been super fun, and we're hopeful about continuing doing things like this in the future. After all, we still have a ton of other stuff he wanted to work on that were at least equally as exciting as the things we showed off last week. So I think we almost have to at this point. On top of the more than 1,500 individual bug fixes, tweaks, and changes we've done to the game with this update, we wanted to also highlight a couple more projects we've been working on to improve existing features in different ways. Also, before we start, we won't be talking more about Accolades rework since we believe we went into enough detail in the previous dev diary. If you're interested to read more about it, please check it out in the link below. We have, however, been incorporating some of your feedback that we've received since revealing the rework, so thank you for that. Alright, to kick it off, I want to introduce Windy, one of our producers on CK3, who will be showcasing one of his babies that he has been working hard on, and I believe you will all greatly appreciate it. Story Tracker. Hello everyone, I am Windy, and I've been producing Crusader Kings III for 5 years now. Thanks to the Black 4 Jam, I have an opportunity to actually contribute to the game beyond my capacity as a producer, and whatever random script things I do every now and then. To anyone who enjoys the fishing decision for adventures in Roads to Power, that was me! This year, for the Game Jam, I want to show how cool story cycle content actually is. We have quite a lot of story cycles in the game actually. Some of them just drive AI behavior, but a lot of it is fun gameplay. The studio agreed. It is something I think everyone has wanted at one point, and it's a shame they are so hidden away. To achieve this, I got a star-studded team to help me develop the Story Tracker. I was joined by a game director, Alexander Altner, 2 whole coders, a game designer, and a lot of help from UI artists, and even our studio manager helped out. Planning. First things first, how do you go from nothing to something? Well, here my experience as a producer came in handy. First up, what do we even want to show? What questions do we need to answer? What questions do we have as CK3 players? After the initial brainstorming session, I set out to make some mock-ups and prototypes on paper, and by kit bashing our UIs together to show something. It ended up being very bad and very ugly, but it was the first step towards something. Now, we could actually start quantifying what is useful, what is not, how we should display different things. All story cycles are very different. They have different things to keep track of, different characters, etc. What even is there to keep track of? Well, to know that, we need to list all of our story cycles and what suits us better than a nice spreadsheet. Now that we have an idea what we need to show, we ended up with a modular system, thanks to Alexander Altner, and UI elements to be able to build on all the different game mechanics found in the story cycles. Implementation. The very talented code team set out to work to expose these things in the UI. And from game design side, it was time to implement a maximum version of a story cycle for debugging. One that would make full use of all the planned elements so that we could lay it out properly and see what we needed to do in order to display all the information we wanted to show in a neat and structured way. For each story cycle, I designed mockups with elements that are needed for implementation. For each element, code wrote GUI script that I could play around with, moving elements around, making sure everything is aligned, using the same amount of vertical and horizontal space. We had Monday to Friday to complete this, and with good prep work and laying the foundation early, we managed to have the feature complete by Wednesday, allowing us to bug fix and polish until the end of the week. Highly recommended. Anyway, that's the long and short of it. Looks like we have a lot of new content, but actually we're just showing off what we made throughout the years. Now we can make new, cooler stories that use this interface to its full potential. Stay tuned for those. Super cool stuff. Indeed, we can't wait to show you how we can further use this interface to deliver you all great and exciting content. Even our game director, Altner, has been working on a pet project for this update. Up next, he'll tell you a bit more about what happens when you grow old, both in real life and now in the game. Elder traits. There are 2 problems with growing old in CK3 that I've always wanted to change for a long time. There are very few complications of aging, and the ones that exist are immediately debilitating. For example, one day your character is a spry, capable warrior, and the next day they're infirm, basically good for nothing but waiting for death to claim them. Also, that's basically the only consequence, infirmity, which represents both the deterioration of the mind and body at once. Not very fun, and it feels unfair from a challenge perspective. Since some time, we've had a tool to make the situation into something better: tier traits. There's now a selection of elderly traits, all medievally flavored versions of real-life afflictions, that start out from very mild but grow in severity over time. This includes the previously mentioned infirm trait, which is now also tiered. Worth noting is that I didn't want a repeat of the harm events feature. We threw random events at the player, which they couldn't do anything about. So a crucial element of elder traits is offering methods for players to mitigate both 1. Getting the traits in the first place, and 2. How fast they progress. As you can see in the picture, your lifestyle has a large impact on whether you get the elder traits, but there's also a genetic component and a certain degree of luck involved. Generally, doing what you most often already do, like keeping your characters healthy and free of stress, will reduce the chances of getting these traits. Note that the game concept will not list all factors, only the most major ones. Some of the more niche playstyles and lifestyles are more socially oriented, thus counter mind-related afflictions. So now, you have new reasons to pursue the diplomat and seducer trees. Let's take a look at all the traits and their mitigations. Faltering heart. The most stress-linked elder trait is faltering heart, which progresses in severity the more stress breaks your character suffers. The trait itself increases stress gain and reduces stress loss, but for a careful player, this is the easiest trait to avoid worsening. If it reaches rank 4, you will die. Fragile bones. Fragile bones is unique in that it doesn't convey any direct health penalties. It just makes everything surrounding health worse for your character. The trait lowers your life expectancy, which means aging will cause you to lose health slightly faster than usual. Makes your frail mortal form easier to murder, and makes any wounds you suffer worse. Yes, that's right. Whenever you would become wounded, your fragile bones trait will instead cause you to become severely injured, or brutally mauled if the trait rank is high. Fragile bones slowly increases its ranks over time, but this is very slow unless you're traveling or commanding armies. If you have fragile bones or withering heart with an advanced trait rank, your character will show a new animation in the character window. Clouded eyes. The mildest elder trait is Clouded Eyes, which disperses the penalties of the blind trait over several levels, with the final one replacing the trait with blind outright. The trait progresses very randomly, with a vast majority of characters only ending up at around level 1 or 2. It can be mitigated by avoiding areas with a lot of sun and glare. As an added detail, characters with this trait will actually have clouded eyes visible on their portrait. Withering Mind. While Withering Mind does not give any penalties to health, it will, if left unchecked, decimate your skills. This is by far the most debilitating of the elder traits, yet also the one with the most possible mitigations. Keep yourself as healthy as you can by surrounding yourself with friends, lovers, wards, etc. Think twice before stacking all your typical health modifiers. Sometimes it's better to die than to spend your life in purgatory. This trait is the reason we've added multiplicative skill modifiers in this update. For each advancement on the track, you lose 25% of your skill, no matter how high those skills are. You can have a learning skill of 5 or 50, you'll slowly slide down the slope of oblivion regardless. Some of the mitigations for Withering Mind are things that actually worsen the state of other elder traits. For instance, traveling is bad for those with fragile bones, but good for those with Withering Mind. Characters with a sufficiently high level of Withering Mind will have the delirium animation in the character view. Infirm. The infirm trait is now tiered, just like the other traits, and no longer reduces intrigue or learning. It now represents a general physical degradation of the body. As this trait is still one of the most impactful traits in the elder trait category, it is now much more rare. It is extremely unlikely that you'll get infirm without already having gained one or more of the other elder traits first. Infirmity increases by a full level every time you contract an illness of any severity. Stay healthy and stay far away from any epidemics. We made some content to make the traits feel present, such as events while traveling, etc. This includes not only events that highlight the elder traits you've gained, but also events exhibiting the impact of your close family or loved ones having these nasty traits. Surround yourself with the right people to avoid the worst consequences. Some traits, like athletic, make little sense the more infirm you get. If you prefer the old way of representing elder traits with only the infirm trait, we've added a game rule where you can customize this to your preference. The only option that disables achievements is the one disabling aging consequences altogether. Now, up next is nomads and the work that's gone into rebalancing them. I will let Jason explain that in more detail. He's really enthusiastic about it, so please entertain him. Nomadic adjustments.
All lands under the sun belong to the Great Khan.
With this truth established between us, I will tell you of the nomad adjustments that have set up camp in this fine update. The chief step issue we've addressed was herders, specifically the lack of them. After game start, herders tend to mostly disappear from the world. This leaves the steppe barren of fertility and nomads with few good targets for migration. It's a recipe for stagnation. So what measures did we take to welcome herders back into the world? First, a culling effect of very weak AI nomads. If an AI nomad has no herd, but a single barren pasture or two, and no fame to the name, they're made a pathetic, but fertility generating, herder. And they deserve it. Secondly, humiliation causes belly realm breakup. The humiliation causes belly will now not only denote nomads in dominance level, but will break off their non-capital border counties as independent herders. Thirdly, tweaking of the overrun kingdom casus belli. Because this casus belli moves nomads out of the steppe and leaves herders in their wake, it being used more by king tier khans, specifically those who have little or no reason to believe they might become Gurkhan, creates fertile openings in the steppe, and contributes to the region being more dynamic. So the AI will indeed use the overrun casus belli more often, but only against much more appropriate feeling targets. Either their neighbors or regions historically moved into by nomads, like Persia, the Middle East, Asia Minor, Eastern Europe, Northeast Asia. Indeed, issues with the related targeting script has been fixed, and there should be no more random cumin Francis appearing. Oh, also, the culture fate replacement effect that happens when the victorious nomads move into their conquests is now somewhat more limited and less capable of making local cultures or fates disappear. We cooked up a smaller version of the CB discussed above. This one is available to Duke tier nomads and targets only a duchy. It does not swap the local culture and faith with the invader's culture and faith. Thus, it has less disruptive impact on the game world and can be used more frequently as part of the regular permeability between the world of the steppe and the soft settled peoples. As with the overrun kingdom casus belli, a nomad invader achieving victory with the overrun duchy moves into the non-nomadic lands they targeted and assumes non-nomadic government. Their old territory goes to herders. In addition, this casus belli, unlike the kingdom level one, is potentially available to confederation members. By using this CB successfully, they leave their ranks of the confederation. So this is another vector for steppe dynamism, a decrease in the long-term stability of nomadic confederation. So, herders? After testing, I'm happy to say that they're not only
great mighty khans
on the steppe after game start, they're herders too. The cycle of steppe life and steppe victim life seems rather more vexatiously unpredictable. Praise Genghis Khan. Thank you, Jason. We hope that this and last week's showcase has left you excited for this update. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we have a whole slew of fixes on top of the work here that has been done. I want to raise a special thanks to everyone who participated in Community Fix Day event we launched a few weeks ago. In our eyes, it was a massive success, and we were super happy about the participation we got from you, the community. We will be evaluating the event and look into how we could incorporate this into perhaps a more regular format. For those interested in a changelog of all the things that were fixed, I'm happy to announce that we'll be revealing the preliminary changelog very soon as we go into open beta. Lastly, before ending this development diary, there are two more additions I want to show off. We've had fantastic work from one of our programmers to finally separate each accessory type so that it has its own set of 16 color channels that you can modify for your character. What does this mean in plain language? It means that in the future, you'll be able to finally color the clothes of your character without accidentally painting your horse. Now, I want to make clear that this has not yet gone through QA, and while we are hopeful it will make it into this update, we also want to be careful not to introduce any new issues. So please, make sure to thoroughly try out this feature during the open beta. We've also done a pretty significant change to the domain limit, so it's not as easily obtained by stewardship anymore. Snow Crystal has been working on overhauling the system, so you no longer get domain limit from stewardship. Now, small thanks to Mummy Monk for the idea in the first place. In addition, we moved some of these lost domain limit bonuses into education traits instead, so you'll now get domain limits based on education trait. We also reduced the amount of domain limit from the architect tree to 1, and put it into one tree of each type. Patriarch tree, Theologian tree, Torture tree, and Overseer. We want to ensure that this update lives up to both our quality standards and your expectations. While we cannot share a release date just yet, we can say that you will not have to wait much longer, as we hope to share more updates soon. For those interested in joining the open beta and helping us ensure this release is the best it can be, please keep an eye out for more information very soon. We plan to launch the branch on March 30th, assuming everything goes according to plan. We're extremely grateful for all your support during this time, and I hope you're just as excited as we are to play this update. Please look forward to it. Thank you, and see you soon. As always, thank you for watching, and if you want to stay up to date with anything Crusader Kings 3 related, then like the video and subscribe to the channel.
You know, as we said a while back, this was supposed to be a single dev diary, but we ended up with so much content that we decided it was better to just split it in half. I also feel like it makes up for me quietly and secretly canceling the Blackforge Jam dev diary that was supposed to go out a couple weeks ago. I still want us to show off what we did for the Blackforge Jam this past December, but I didn't think the timing was favorable, so this will likely go out sometime in the summer instead. Oh, and a huge thank you to Riyadh for recording for me this week. I don't mind doing the dev diary presentation voice, but it does get tiring after a little while, and these take a deceptively long time to record. We'll be back next week, though, to talk about something a little more secretive.